Welcome to the WorldWire Update. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more updates and thrilling short scenes. In September 2025, a massive federal raid shook the Hyundai LG Energy Solution EV battery plant in Georgia, sending shockwaves through the American manufacturing sector and the global auto industry. The plant, a sprawling complex that had become a beacon of hope for the region, was suddenly at the center of a national controversy. Just months earlier, the facility was celebrated as a symbol of American manufacturing renewal, promising thousands of jobs and a new era of clean energy innovation. But on that day, agents from ICE, Homeland Security, and the FBI stormed the 2,900-acre site, executing search warrants and detaining key personnel as stunned employees looked on. Construction ground to a halt, freezing Hyundai's $26 billion US investment in its tracks and leaving the future of the project hanging in the balance. The raid paralyzed progress, with expensive equipment sitting idle, workers sent home, and project timelines thrown into chaos. The ripple effects were immediate and severe. For global investors, the message was chilling. No project, no matter how high profile, was immune from aggressive government enforcement. Even flagship projects, once thought untouchable, were now vulnerable, leaving workers and local communities anxious about their future. Critics quickly argued that the government's heavy-handed approach risked undermining economic growth, scaring off future investment, and damaging America's reputation as a stable business environment. The raid threatened to unravel one of the largest manufacturing investments in recent U.S. history, raising questions about the country's commitment to supporting innovation and job creation. The incident ignited a fierce national debate about immigration enforcement, economic strategy, and whether America could still be trusted as a reliable partner for global business. The future of Hyundai in America, once bright and full of promise, was suddenly clouded with doubt, uncertainty, and a sense that the rules of the game had changed overnight. The raid's impact was immediate and far-reaching. 475 people, mostly highly skilled engineers and technicians, were detained, causing a ripple effect throughout the industry. Over 300 South Korean specialists in the U.S. temporarily to install advanced battery tech found themselves treated as criminals. These were experts who had come to share their knowledge and expertise. Their work, essential to launching the plant and training American staff, was abruptly halted. The factory floor, once bustling with activity, now stood eerily silent. One engineer summed up the mood: "America is not a safe place to work." This sentiment echoed through the corridors of many international firms. The detentions, based on alleged visa issues, left a void American workers couldn't fill. The specialized skills and knowledge of the detained engineers were irreplaceable. The psychological blow was deep, shattering trust and sending a message of risk to foreign professionals. The fear and uncertainty spread quickly among the international workforce. The incident became a cautionary tale for global companies. Even with major investment, you could be caught in America's political crossfire. The implications for future investments were profound. The scars of the raid would shape perceptions for years to come, leaving a lasting impact on international business relations and the global workforce. The raid quickly escalated into a diplomatic crisis. President Trump defended the operation, but, recognizing the engineers' importance, proposed letting them stay to finish their work. Despite their detention, the U.S. hoped to salvage the project while maintaining a tough immigration stance. South Korea flatly refused, citing the trauma and disillusionment of its citizens. On September 11th, over 300 South Korean workers were flown home, a stark symbol of diplomatic failure. Only one remained, due to family ties. South Korea's president warned that such incidents would make Korean companies rethink investing in the U.S. Trust was broken, and a once promising partnership was left in tatters. As Hyundai reeled from the raid, a new threat loomed: Trump's proposed tariffs, a 10% tariff on all imports, and a possible 100% tariff on cars from Mexico, threatened to upend global supply chains. For Hyundai and Kia, these policies risked making U.S. operations unprofitable overnight. The companies began reviewing their U.S. strategy, slowing investments and delaying new models. Defensive options ranged from shifting production to a phased reduction, or even a full exit from the U.S. market. Once unthinkable, leaving America became a real contingency. The combined pressure of raids and tariffs forced Hyundai to question its long-term commitment. America, once a land of opportunity, now looked unpredictable and risky. The prospect of Hyundai and Kia leaving the US isn't just a corporate issue, it's an economic disaster in the making. These brands aren't just names on cars, they're pillars supporting entire communities, from bustling cities to small towns that rely on the auto industry for their livelihoods. If Hyundai and Kia were to pull out, thousands of direct jobs would disappear overnight, and the shockwaves would hit even harder down the supply chain. Local suppliers, logistics companies, and small businesses that depend on the steady flow of auto industry dollars would be left scrambling to survive. Car prices would spike as competition shrinks, hitting American families hard. With fewer affordable options on the market, many would be priced out of buying new vehicles, forcing them to hold on to older, less efficient cars. Dealerships would close, parts would become scarce, and the entire automotive ecosystem would be thrown into chaos. Mechanics, parts suppliers, and even local diners that serve factory workers would feel the pinch. The raid exposed America's dependence on foreign investment and expertise, especially in the EV transition. Hyundai and Kia have been at the forefront of bringing advanced electric vehicles and new technologies to American roads. Spooking a major investor like Hyundai sends a chilling message to others. It signals that the US may not be a stable or welcoming place for global companies to innovate and grow. A Hyundai exit would leave a vacuum of capital, technology, and innovation. The loss would be felt not just in lost jobs, but in the stalling of research, development, and future breakthroughs. The US could fall behind in the global EV race, watching as other nations surge ahead in clean technology and manufacturing prowess. The consequences would ripple far beyond the auto industry, touching every corner of the economy, from real estate to retail, from education to public services. The departure of Hyundai and Kia would be a warning sign that no industry is immune to global shifts, and that the stakes for American workers and communities have never been higher. The crisis triggered urgent warnings from leaders and industry groups in both countries. South Korea's president cautioned that continued hostility would jeopardize future investment. U.S. auto dealer associations and industry groups warned that tariffs and raids would backfire, raising prices and costing American jobs. They highlighted the disconnect between political rhetoric and economic reality. The U.S. auto industry relies on global talent and stable trade. Protectionism and unpredictability threaten its future. The Hyundai raid set a dangerous precedent, making it harder to attract essential foreign expertise. Both sides agreed. America's industrial prosperity depends on stable, respectful partnerships. The nation risked dismantling its own economic foundations for short-term politics. Autumn 2025 marks a crossroads for the American auto industry. The raid and tariff threats have created deep uncertainty about America's role as a global investment destination. Hyundai and Kia must now weigh decades of investment against a hostile climate. They could delay, withdraw, or even exit, a move that would trigger job losses, price hikes, and supply chain collapse. For the U.S., this is a test of its economic identity. Will it embrace global cooperation or retreat behind walls? The future of American manufacturing hangs in the balance. If Hyundai leaves, it signals to the world that America is closing for business, risking its prosperity and global standing.